Hello and welcome to a new episode of Euch Brettspiele. My name is Nils and today we are looking at a Kickstarter preview. So this is a prototype work in progress and this was provided by the publisher to make a Kickstarter preview video. Ethereum, I hope that's correctly pronounced, but who knows. So in Etherium we do have a planet, so we are basically in a different galaxis or whatever you call it, so you're far away, and on this area here, and you already probably noticed this unique board here. I come and cover that in a minute. So on this planet we have up to 4 tribes, up to 4 players who are fighting here basically for area control, gathering resources, etc. The main mechanic of this game is pre-programming. So in the beginning of the game you have 4 actions. While you have these 4 actions, you are secretly flap these in here, and all of this is inside the game box. I will show you that in a minute. So, and then you simply pre-program your actions here. While everybody doing that at the same time, you resolve the actions one by one. So let's say you did this one first, then you do this action. Everybody is doing the action. If there's a combat on the battle, you resolve the combat and then go on to action number 2, etc. Over the course of the game, you have the ability to get 5 or 6 actions, and the game takes 7 rounds that are indicated by these phases here. Let's take a look to the material first. So first of all, I have to say, I have never seen a game board like this, a unique game board that you really stack into each other, and you might notice there are different height levels. These height levels do have an impact of the game. Let's say on a movement turn. This guy here is a soldier because he has 2 swords. This guy here is the gatherer. He is bringing in resources. Let's say I'm pre-programming movement here with my number 1 here. Then I indicate which territory I want to go in. In this case, to the blue territory, which is only available here. If I would say I'm going to red, then I'm going to red. Now the different terrain types it. So let's say I want to go to blue. First of all, I can decide, do I want to go with my gatherer or my soldier? In this case, we do have a soldier here, so it's probably not wise to go into the soldier, because at the end of the round, before the next action takes place, which could be getting resources, and conflict will take place. So in this case, if I pre-programmed this, I basically have to go with my soldier here. And now the different terrain comes in. I go down, that's free movement. And here I go up to this is basically 1 movement. For the number of movement is determined by at least 1 up. I can also move down here and 1 up there. That's fine. However, if I wanted to go from here to there, I need 1 movement first and then another one. So I cannot go straight here. I have to go there if I would like to go to stone. That's an interesting part on the movement and the different terrain levels, in my opinion. The other interesting part is these are all small boxes, so you store them in the box. That's also clever. Also, this is the player board that is where you put your pieces in and store all your pieces, but also where you have the information about your unique tribal powers, and also you place your action tokens here. So the game flow is basically you flip over a card for a round, then something overall happens. You gain these immediately flash cards that are having a huge impact in the game, which I will cover later on. Then you are pre-programming, and then you are solving the actions one by one. Obviously, this is also an area control game. So while you have the more player you have, the more combat you will have. That means if it's more crowded, it's more likely that fighting is a very important aspect. While if you're playing with just 2 people, it's more a gather and build your own engine game. But that's a conflict game usually. So in my personal opinion, the more the better from the number of players, because you simply get more out of the game. And then it's a direct confrontation, very brutal, very hard in my opinion, for a lot of fun for an hour, and then the game is over. So, but after that, you can, like in Kemet for an example, you can look into the eyes of other people and smile and laugh, because it is a real cool game when you really fight a lot. Another thing that really keeps me interested in this game is the variable player powers. So the red player, for an example, he gets always, when he attacks, a +3 in a close combat. Also, he wins all ties between soldiers. And when there is a fight, then he also gathers additional resources from them, so basically stealing resources. So for the red player, there's a huge advantage to really fight. You can even go into the castle, into the city of the other player here, and then attack it, make a siege, and then you can reduce the city. The city itself defends by these things, and each one is a die. But anyway. So the other thing that you can do is, with the other fractions, you are trying probably to get more resources. You probably notice there's only one blue field, and that is the main resource. It's called Etherium. So the whole game goes around the Etherium. Everybody wants to collect Etherium. And either you can collect it here, steal from someone else, or create it, or make a spiritual connection to the gods or to whoever, and rolling dice with this action, and hope you get Etherium out of that. But all of that means you have to pre-program your actions in a clever way to get what you want. And then, if that would be not enough, the spice comes into play from these cards. These cards are shaking the game to its core. There are a lot of these flash cards where you can do a lot of interesting things. Get another additional +3 in combat, re-roll dice, get a free gathering resource, plus an additional die, or move your guy to a forest region. But you notice this is a different icon, not the yellow one. These you have to play at the start of your game before you pre-program. Then re-roll 1s and 2s and all of that. And you can play basically as many as you like. So you can have a hand size limit over the rounds of 6 cards. So let's say you have 6 cards and 4 of them are combat cards. Then you are probably in a good shape to attack the red player. And if he is already later in the round down with his cards, you really have a huge chance. There's another interesting element for victory points. You get victory points for combats, but you also get victory points for gather Etherium, but just 1, for combat already 2. If you steal from someone a black cube, and a black cube is basically an additional action, you get 6 victory points. So there's an incentive for combat, and this makes this game so unique. It's a pre-programming game that is really focused on fighting, and each time you are really having a battle. That is unique, that's interesting, and that's again the thing why I compared a little bit to Kemet, because you have slightly a little bit of an engine builder, but it's all about fighting in your face, direct confrontation. The ways are very short on this table, so you can always get to someone, especially if you play with 4 people. If you play with 2, maybe not, but if you play with 4, you always have a fight. And that is really interesting, very confrontative, but I personally like it a lot. Last but not least, as you noticed, this is a production or prototype, a pre-production copy, so it's not final, but already this one looks so promising. So you have this very cool dual layer action selection things. But you also have a coverage. Once the game is done, you store all your bits in your tribe. So you put simply all your pieces in here. Very clever. Another thing is the level of the soldier is now 3 or 2 or even 4. You simply put these bases under and then determine the level of the soldier and the gatherer. The other thing that's really clever are these little things, these boxes. Here you add something, but once you have played the game, you simply take all these boxes, and I hope I can get that here right now for you to show it to you. So you bring in these little pieces here, and now let's put it like this. So this is how you store the game. So you store the game in these and these boxes. Very, very clever. Very good wooden components, very good quality. It already looks super shiny, and this is just the prototype. Anyway, if this is your cup of tea, if a very confrontational area control pre-programming game is your cup of tea, I can highly recommend you to take a close look to Etherium. It's an interesting game. It's now on Kickstarter, and you will have the chance to back it. As always, this was my point of view to this new prototype, and please leave me a thumb up or like it or comment it, whatever you want. In any case, take a chance to take a look at the Kickstarter page, which is in my comments. Have a great day and see you next time. Bye bye. Your Nils.